Welcome guys to the studio. Today is a very special day. Today is day one of planning a new studio. Sebastian is here. He's an absolute nerd when it comes to everything music. Actually everything, not just music. He's helping me to measure the room. And I'll ask him some questions and show you how we measure it and how to measure your room correctly so that you know how to improve it. First, what do we need?
Measurement mic. We use the Mini DSP UMIC 1.
Yeah.
It's around 100 euros. And they deliver for this mic specified calibration file. So you need a mic that is very linear on the whole frequency band, and it's also omnidirectional.
So we'll just put it here at the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Do we put it upright or facing forward? Because
actually,
there's some people saying this way, that way.
So these people are very smart. They actually deliver 2 calibration files.
Ah, okay, perfect.
So if you put it up like this, then you have a small difference, but it's in the higher range of the frequencies.
Okay.
There's a different response, but normally we measure on axis with the speakers, and then the normal calibration file is used for this measurement.
Okay, perfect. So let me get a stand.
No matter what, I'll never leave.
So we got the graph right here, and Sebastian told me that this right here, 108 Hertz, looks a little awkward. And he suggested it's probably the guitar. Can you play it again? And I'll try to capture this. And now without the strings. Just the guitar screwing up 108 Hertz. And 108 Hertz is important.
It's almost 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
And
Just because of the guitar?
You can see there are different frequencies. Most of them are the open strings of the guitar. And you have normally if you have a room mode, then you see like a logarithmic decay, but here you see it's straight, and then you get these little things, and I think these are all from the guitar.
Should we do it again without the guitar in the room?
Yes.
Bad guitar. That's so crazy. It's gone. 108? It's entirely gone.
So these are all the guitar frequencies, I think.
Like, do it again, like before, after?
Most of the
It
response
looks so
is
much
not
cleaner.
changed. These
Yes.
are tiny differences, but basically the whole reverberation above 80 Hertz were just from the guitar.
So anybody that has 10 guitars in their control room is just stupid?
Or maybe he shouldn't mix with them in the control room.
So if there's one thing you learned today, get rid of the guitars.
Or at least put something like a capoduster on it, so
Yeah.
it dampens the strings. At least cover the hole. So
Yeah.
basically you have some kind of a Helmholtz resonator if you have an open box. So yesterday I measured in another studio, and we used a subwoofer to measure.
Yeah.
And their main speakers were Genelecs, and we had them not powered besides of the subwoofer. And I had these really weird resonances around 80 Hertz, and basically it was the resonance of the volume of the Genelec speakers.
Okay,
we
so the
moved them out
speaker,
of the
so the
room.
speaker itself was like
Yeah,
a
so
guitar.
If you don't power them, they act some kind of like a passive resonator.
Okay, yeah. By the way, before anyone asks, we're using, of course, Room EQ Wizard, which is
it's really
the
good.
best.
It's
for free.
for free, and basically you can for this use case you can measure everything.
So let's try some more. Try to find some more frequencies that might be just objects laying around.
Okay.
There's like a metal kind of sound in the very high frequencies. We've done some more tests, and Sebastian suggested that we move the speakers actually back, and I went behind the speaker, and just me standing behind the speaker already improved. Which frequency was it?
Around 100.
100 Hertz by like 30, 40 dB. That's a lot. He's now going behind the speaker.
This is actually a very good suggestion. If you have a lot of friends and no money for room acoustics, invite a lot of friends.
Yeah, have a big party.
So the human body is actually quite a good absorber.
Yeah, definitely.
At least above 80 hertz. Empty clubs always sound shitty.
Oh yeah, definitely. We moved that speaker all the way back, and the graph is the black one, right?
The black one is the right speaker, which is in the old position.
Yes, and the red one is the new one.
We don't have the dip at 100 hertz anymore.
Yeah, so that's just the difference between that speaker standing in the room with a lot of room to the back, and that one all the way to the wall. And it's improved like a lot, like black versus red. Red is the improved one, black the old setup, so we can basically improve the frequency response by, in some frequencies, 20 dB just by moving it to the back. Is that like in general a suggestion to put it back?
It shows an effect that is called speaker boundary interference response. So if you have some kind of distance between the speaker and some hard boundary wall,
yeah.
The reflection cancels the frequency in the speaker itself. We're playing some filtered pink noise,
Okay.
and we try to find out if something in the room is resonating. So if it's an actual room response or some rattling mount or
There's a lot of
something
stuff.
in the bass traps that you've built.
Yeah. We already found something. That's the fabric, the foil behind it, and the wood resonating at certain frequencies behind the speaker. It's, yeah, like distortion that you don't need. I feel really bad, like that there's so many mistakes in my room. So yeah, if there's one thing I learned today, room acoustic is very, very complicated, and you should take someone take care of it that knows what he's talking about. Because I know a little, like I understand the principles, but there's so many misconceptions, and the only thing that helps is measuring, changing, measuring, and getting closer and closer to something that makes sense. Now, the exciting part, the upstairs studio. I've been waiting for this entire day. Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, it's bright outside again. I went back home, started planning the new studio. I started like 3D modeling it, because like I will build it room in room, because in the A studio there's like one problem that I can't change. You see this right here? That's like slight water damage. It only happens when it rains really, really heavily. Also up here, it usually disappears after 1 or 2 days. By the way, if you haven't seen it for a long time, the A studio, it's big. Big means we can do a lot of acoustic treatment in here. Build the speakers into the wall, and also just one last tip. I mean, it's so obvious, but put your speakers always up in a triangle. Ear height should be on the center of the speaker. For this speaker specifically, the acoustic center is right here, but most speakers that are two-way, it's actually the tweeter, the top one. And stands greatly, greatly improve the performance of any speaker. Like decoupling them, really, really important. We got also here some special material underneath. It should be actually more, but it's still too risky to build in front of the walls. And as I already explained yesterday, I want to keep it modular. So big pieces, 1 meter by 250, that I can just take apart and take anywhere. And I don't want to have to touch, after this studio, ever again, the material that goes into it. It's itchy, it's annoying, I just hate it. And then I started using SketchUp, which is like a 3D, very easy usable 3D modeling software, to make the first sketch of the studio. I'm also like, you see there, it's the second one that I started. I want to make like 3-5 designs, and then maybe like use some tape to put it on the floor in the actual room, go inside and see and test if everything feels big enough and like is adjusted correctly. So this is like, this will be the perfect studio. The perfect studio for me. I want it as big as possible, acoustically treated to the max. I mean, you've just seen what like a small guitar can do to your room. It's insane. LEDs all around, ceiling. I want it to be bright because I'm filming a lot of videos, so making it like dark, like a cave, it's not an option for me. And yeah, that's basically the plan. A huge thanks goes out to Sebastian. He will help me to plan everything. I will plan something, present it to him, and he will suggest me things to consider because he knows so much more about room acoustic, built already a couple of studios, has the experience, the knowledge. And if you're interested to check out what he's doing, I'll link down below his website. If you need some consulting for room acoustic and stuff like that, he charges very little because he's a geek and nerd and loves that kind of stuff. And honestly, investing money up front into planning and acoustic measurements will prevent you from like bad surprises. So whenever you build a studio, I mean, if you just put like some bass traps and stuff like that, the more absorption the better. But like if you build it basically a room in a room, you don't want to screw up because there is no going back. So last thing I want to mention is I'm opening up a new playlist here on this YouTube channel. Studio construction from day 1 till day X when it's all finished, so that everyone on this planet can go back and watch like how this entire studio was built. I will share every single little detail. Probably do 1 video per week about the studio, just updates, because filming while I construct, that's like, it's annoying me too much, to be honest, and there is always too much stuff going wrong. So I think 1 video update per week should be enough. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I will now take a shower, get changed, head over to the studio and continue making music. I don't know, I love this kind of life. Always action, always something new. And advancing, that's the most important for me by far. Never stand still, that just kills me instantly.
No matter what you say.